Hi, it's Lucy, and today I'm going to be doing my May TBR. I don't know, I sang it like that. That was really weird, and I have no good singing voice, so sorry about that. But this video is going to include my TBR for the Asian Readathon that is being was created by Read with Cindy. I did this readathon last year, and I went a little harder for it than I'm going to be going this year. I don't know if that was an adequate explanation of what I'm trying to say, but you'll see. I'm going to do the Asian Readathon TBR towards the end of the video. First, we're going to talk about the e-arcs that I want to prioritize this month, and then we'll talk about my random picks, which I'll tell you more about when we get there, and then I'll talk about my Asian Readathon TBR. This month, I want to leave some leeway for some other books that I'm not going to talk about in this video for me to read, because I want to do some other videos because I want to try one of those secret TBR videos, and I'm kind of working on one right now. Those books are not going to be talked about in this TBR. And yeah, I just want to leave some leeway for other books that I could get. Right now, I have been pretty good about not buying books. I don't know if I want to buy more books, if I still want to continue prioritizing my TBR. And also, I usually don't mention anything because a lot of the books that I read are audiobooks and ebooks anyway, but this month, I guess, is all audiobooks and ebooks, and I will try and pick up stuff off my physical TBR. Like I've mentioned before, I'm not currently in my permanent home right now, so I only have a select few books with me, so it feels weird to put those in a TBR because I only have 7 anyway, and that's a whole TBR video in and of itself. Anyway, just wanted to point that out. You'll still see pictures of the covers next to me like I always do, but just pointing it out. So first, the e-arcs that I want to prioritize. If you don't know, an e-arc is an electronic advanced reader's copy. These are books that the publishers have sent to me to read and review for you guys. I got all of these from NetGalley. The first book is The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. I've talked about this before because I actually got this arc last year, and the book came out in October of 2019, so technically this is backlist, I think. I don't really know. Is backlist any book that's already come out? Or I think backlist is any book that came out in not this year, I think is how it works. So it technically is backlist, even though it came out towards the end of 2019, but it is. So I really need to prioritize that. The book is pitched for fans of The Handmaid's Tale. It is set in a world where every year when a girl turns 16, she's sent off because she has magic or something. I'm not really 100% sure, but it's pitched as being good for fans of The Handmaid's Tale, but YA, so that's where that is. The second arc that I want to prioritize this month is Girl Crushed by Katie Heaney. This was pitched as Leah on the Offbeat meets We Are Okay. So this is an FF romance. We follow a girl named Quinn who's dumped by her girlfriend who was her best friend, so now she doesn't have a best friend or a girlfriend, and we follow her as she starts to develop this new crush, but she's still trying to understand her feelings for her ex-girlfriend and kind of decide whether she should try and get back together with her and also deal with the new crush. And it sounds fun, and I'm always down for a good FF romance. Oh, and that book came out on April 7th, so I also missed making this an advanced reader's copy, but it is what it is. But the next book is actually a book that's coming out. The book is A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. This comes out on June 2nd, so I'm actually reading an arc in a timely manner to if I want to do a full video review, I could do that before the book comes out. That's wild. Anyway, this follows two best friends, Tavia, who is struggling to hide her siren powers, and Effie, who is dealing with family struggles as well as literal demons, I guess. And everything in the world changes in the aftermath of a siren murder trial that rocks the nation, and Tavia accidentally lets out her siren scream at the worst possible moment, which I assume would betray her secret, and they have to figure out how to navigate that. So I assume this is some kind of allegory for, Black Lives Matter with the murder trial and everything. I like that the paranormal spin on it because, like I mentioned, there are sirens, demons. It is set in Portland, Oregon, so it's still set in our present day. So I'm interested in that, and I'm looking forward to reading it. So those are the 3 arcs that I'm prioritizing in the month of May. I do have other arcs available to me. I might request more. We'll see what happens. I'm trying not to request more because I am on that book buying ban, but I also did not expect the world to be going the way it was going when I started that book buying ban. Does that mean I should let go of my book buying ban to, reward myself for, existing? Or I should probably not do that because I do want to get through my TBR at some point in the future. So we're thinking about things. But all that to say, I do have other arcs. I might also read those throughout the month. If you want to know what I'm like currently reading, I do have a Goodreads that I always link down below in case you're interested. I haven't been as great at keeping up with my Goodreads as of lately, but I do want to get back on track with that as well this month, so hopefully I'll be able to give you guys more real-time updates. Next, we have my random picks. If you don't know, random picks is where I pick 3 books off of my TBR using either a random number generator or numbers that are given to me by you guys in the comments down below, and I use those numbers to pick 3 books off of my TBR, and I attempt to read at least one of those books. Sometimes it ends up being more, sometimes it's only one, sometimes it's none, and then I try and carry over that book to like my next month's TBR, because now it's like back on my radar. My Goodreads TBR is over 400 books now, so I'm just trying to not forget about books that might have been there for a while. I don't think I collected numbers last month, so this month, leave a number down below between 1 and 460 so that I can use your numbers to pick next month's random pick. The first book that the random number generator picked for me was Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. I don't actually know what this is about, except that it is kind of like a classic. For it being a classic, I don't actually know what it's about, but I just looked at Goodreads and it says it's about a Black woman in the 30s who's on like a quest for her identity after she goes through like 3 marriages and onto a journey back to her roots. I am looking forward to potentially reading it. I'm not sure if I'll get to it this month. The Downstairs Girl by Stacey Lee. This is a historical fiction novel, but I'm not sure what year it's set in. I want to say this is also the early 1900s. But I literally have no idea. This follows a girl named Jo Kwon, who by day is the maid for the mean daughter of one of Atlanta's richest men, and by night is the anonymous advice columnist for the local paper, and she's making waves by giving out the advice that she does, and she's challenging social norms and I assume probably racism and sexism. Because of this, people get angry about it and they're trying to figure out who she is. And while this is happening, she gets sent a mysterious letter that brings her on a journey to discover the parents who gave her up. This sounds really interesting. The author is a Chinese American woman, and I'm pretty sure the main character is Chinese American. And the last book for my random picks is Reasons to Stay Alive by Matt Haig. The reason this is on my TBR is because I feel like a while ago, Whitney from Witty Novels mentioned reading this and talked about Matt Haig, and I was like, I want to read that, so I added it to my TBR, and now the random number generator picked it out for me to read potentially. As far as I can tell, I'm pretty sure this is a memoir about Matt Haig's struggle with anxiety and depression and feeling suicidal. I'm not sure if it's a memoir or if it's more of an essay collection. I'm not really sure what the difference is when it's based on your own life experiences anyways. Now we're on to the Asian Readathon TBR. I have 3 books that I'm going to be attempting to read for the Asian Readathon. One of those books I have already talked about. The challenges for the Asian Readathon, I'm going to talk about them here, but also Cindy's video will be linked down below if you want to see for yourself, along with the Google Doc that Cindy created and is being like crowdsourced with a bunch of Asian authors. If you're struggling to find any books that you're interested in, you can use that to help you make your TBR if you want to. And so the first book that I'm kind of going to be reading for the Asian Readathon, even though technically I don't really need to read this book, we'll talk about that in a second, is The Downstairs Girl by Stacey Lee. It is one of my random picks, so it was very convenient for me. I promise I did not like rig it at all. It just so happens that one of the books that came up was by an Asian author, so that was real cool and convenient. So this book will complete the challenge to read a book by an Asian author. The author, like I mentioned, I think is Chinese American. Read a book with the main character similar to you. The main character is both a woman and also lives in Atlanta, which is such a weird, specific thing. Not weird, I mean Atlanta is a large city, but I don't know, just random. But yeah, I'm not currently in Atlanta, but I do live there. I'm definitely gonna be back there. Hopefully soon. We'll see when I go back. The next book that I'm going to be reading is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. This is the group book for the Asian Readathon, and for once I'm actually gonna read the group book. I already have the audiobook for this, so it was very conveniently timed. And this will complete the challenge of reading a book recommended by an Asian. Cindy recommended this, and also the optional challenge of reading the group book. So technically, I'm not really going to talk about the synopsis because I don't remember it, but I'm pretty sure it follows like 2 families, and one of the families is a white family that adopts a Chinese American boy, I want to say, but the parents of that child are still around. Yeah, I don't really super remember the synopsis, so sorry about that. And then I have one more book that I would like to get to for the Asian Readathon, and even though I have technically completed the challenges with the other 2 books, I did not complete the kind of the, I don't know, side challenge, I guess, where you are supposed to try and read books by authors with different ethnicities. Both of the books that I just mentioned have Chinese American authors, and So I wanted to try and get another Asian ethnicity into my TBR. Anyway, the book is Three Dark Crowns by Kendra Blake. I did not know Kendra Blake was Asian, but it was on the spreadsheet, and then I looked her up, and on her website she was like, I am from South Korea and I was adopted by my parents and brought to America when I was young. So she is an Asian American author. Those are the books that I'm trying to read for the Asian Readathon, and that is my whole TBR for the month of May. Not my whole TBR. Like I said, I'm going to be trying to read other books, but these are all the books that I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know if you're taking part in the Asian Readathon. Let me know if you're taking part in any other readathons. I know that there are a few going on in May. There's the Mental Healthathon. There's the Springathon, I think, which has to do with nature writing, or maybe it's called Natureathon. I don't know. There's some other ones that I can't remember the names of right this second. So let me know if you're taking part in any readathons in the comments down below. Also, give me a number between 1 and 460 for my random picks. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel because I make more videos where I talk about books. Subscribe to my second channel if you want to see me talk about things that aren't books. Put notifications on for both of those channels if you so wish to, because I don't know, I'm supposed to tell you to put the notifications on, so I do. Follow me on Twitter, Goodreads, Instagram, Carrier Pigeon, that new app that sends you carrier pigeons. You can follow me on that too. Just kidding, that doesn't exist. That was not even a good joke. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.